Everyone looks like they have it all figured out, but the reality is we are all winging it. I remember thinking when I was a child that the adult near me had it all figured out, that they knew exactly what to do, and that they had each step planned. They had everything sorted out, and there was a master plan for everything. But as I became an adult and I learned to plan and I started doing things and I created my own business, I realized that everyone around me, even the people who I consider successful, they're winging it. And that was a major realization because I thought that when I became an adult, I would have all figured out. And that created a massive pressure onto me. I started comparing myself to other people who had been on the same business that I wanted to be for years. And I started comparing my now to their now without realizing that there is a whole process to getting to where you want to go. No one that I know of, at least, has it all figured out. We are all winging it as we go. There is an illusion that tells us that we have to have it all figured out, that we must have it all together. And this is how I used to think of myself as well. I needed to have it all together because, every respectable adult has it all together. But it turns out it's really not that simple. And let me tell you why. A lot of people that you admire, people who are successful in their businesses, YouTubers, Instagram creators, or people who run $1 million businesses, we tend to think that they have it all figured out, because they have all this amount of success. But let me tell you this, social media just do some polishing work for us, because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to figure out the next step. Until a certain point, and the next point, you need to figure it out. No one knows the answer for everything. And you know how I know that? I work with some people who are founders of 8-figure businesses. They are still figuring out. There's so many things that they still don't know. And they hire me a lot of the times to put it together so the experience that they have is polished out there on social media. So no, we are still winging it. And that's not a bad thing. I consider myself as a successful freelancer, right? I have done over $40,000 just on Upwork alone. I have over 600 hours worked in this platform. And let me tell you this, even though I get hired by people who are making millions of dollars with their companies, I am still figuring things out. And that's not to say of my level of professionalism and that I don't have any value to add to people's lives in my profession. No, it's that the next step always seems blurry until you figure out what to do. And a lot of the times you figure out by messing with things, by trying to find education. For example, a lot of people who are well educated, they're figuring out, right? You join education so you can learn new things. We are all winging it. We're all just trying to come up with a way of going to the next step. We're all just trying to be the best versions of ourselves. And that in itself is really hard. So the reason I'm sharing this is that once you realize that we're all just winging it, instead of feeling the amount of pressure that we're always feeling to compare ourselves with other people who are extremely successful on our eyes, it gives us a little bit more fuel to do things differently, to actually feel like winging it becomes our strategy. I see my winging it as one of my main strengths, because for the simple reason I'm winging it, I am always trying to find ways to use my resources to do the best I can do. Winging it doesn't mean that you don't work hard. It means you work hard with what you have, and that's becoming resourceful. So maybe instead of saying, oh my God, I'm so afraid that I'm gonna have to wing it, maybe just think like, well, I am winging it because I'm trying to become resourceful. And you know what? I am resourceful and I can do this. All I need to do is to know the next step ahead and to have an idea of what I'm going to do next. You don't need to see the whole mountaintop. You just need to walk the next step. And once you come to this realization, life gets a bit easier. It doesn't get easy, okay? Don't get me wrong, because life will still slap the shit out of you, but it becomes a little bit easier to navigate through life without feeling that incredible amount of pressure that we feel all the time. I just want to close the video on this one simple idea. And the idea is to take the next step and do it even when you're scared. Because once you do things when you're scared, you're teaching your brain that no matter what happens, you're gonna figure out a solution. And that is where winging it comes in. Because at the end of the day, winging it is just trying to figure out the next step. And winging it is doing things when you are scared. Winging it means asking for no permission. Winging it means I'm going to create that business that I said I'm going to do it, and I'm going to run one step at a time, and I'm not going to freak out. And when you freak out, because that's going to happen, you know what you're going to say to yourself? Well, everybody else is just winging it, so I can wing it myself as well. Now, this doesn't take away room from planning and all of those things, but it becomes your new superpower. If you watched all the way this far, I just want to say thank you so much for watching it and giving me your time. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe if you want to, and if you don't want, I'll see you again in the next video. Much love.